The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Tension is escalating between Mali and France after the sentence of the alleged French spy that was arrested last year, 2025, in Mali, according to All in All, the savior, the protector, General Assimi Goïta. This man came into Mali to destabilize the country. He was arrested alongside some military men. And finally, they have sentenced him to 20 years in prison with a fine of over 3 million CFA franc. And after serving his sentence, he wouldn't be able to come back into Mali for the next 20 years. Macron is not happy. Macron has sent a chilling warning to the leaders in Mali. According to him, they have done everything possible to handle this in a diplomatic way. But they have realized that Mali is not allowing them to have their way. And if the authorities in Mali still choose to stand by their decision, there's going to be boom. Things are going to escalate in a way that the Malian authorities haven't imagined. Because they will not allow their citizen to be treated the manner in which he is being treated currently. Macron is very angry over this decision that was taken by our all-in-all General Assimi Goïta, because to him, this man must be released to them so that he will be sent to France to go and face justice. And I showed you a video of a French politician or academician who clearly said if this man was released back into France, he wouldn't face the justice that they claim they want to give. And the man exposed a whole lot of things, starting from 2012 down to 2013, the plots and whatever they have been doing in Mali, and the reason to which they are doing these things in Mali. And the question Africans are asking, why is it that when it comes to them, they always want their citizens to be given to them to face justice over there? But when it comes to us doing something there, they always want their laws to deal with us without allowing us to also come back to our home countries to face justice. And we ask, is it the equality they have been preaching for? Is it the human right they have been preaching for? Is it the democracy they are giving to the African, whereby the African is still treated as a second-class person because our laws are not so strong and powerful to deal with their people? But when it comes to them, their laws are too powerful. So is it that our version of independence is still the genius version of the independence that they gave to us?
France observes with deep concern the attitude of the Malian authorities regarding the arrest of our diplomatic agent and member of the French intelligence services. Mali has chosen escalation. Despite discussions, despite official requests, despite diplomatic channels opened by Paris, Bamako still refuses to cooperate with the French Republic. I say this tonight with seriousness. France will never accept that one of its representatives is humiliated, detained, or used as a political instrument against our nation. We proposed dialogue, we proposed a peaceful resolution, but if the Malian authorities persist in this refusal of extradition, then France will take all necessary measures to defend its interests, protect its agents, and preserve its international authority. No country should believe it can defy France without consequence. I call one last time on the Malian authorities to return to reason. For if this crisis definitively shifts into confrontation, then the historical responsibility for this conflict will fall entirely on those who chose provocation over peace. Long live the Republic, long live France.
On Mali, a French agent of the General Directorate for External Security was sentenced to 20 years in prison for endangering state security.
Arrested in August 2025, Yann Vézilier was prosecuted for conspiracy against Malian institutions and for his involvement in a project targeting the transitional authorities. Beyond the verdict, several Malian analysts and observers believe that the sentence remains insufficient given the seriousness of the accusations.
There are many spies working under the cover of diplomatic agents within several Western embassies in Mali. Here, we must acknowledge that. So if I say that the justice was lenient towards the spy, because 20 years is little for me, a heavier sentence was needed than that. Because someone, when you are a diplomat in a country, you must avoid interfering in the internal affairs of that country, even more so, avoid associating with plots or being the initiator of a plot aimed at overthrowing a legitimate power in place.
France firmly disputes the charges against its national and asserts that he acted within the scope of his diplomatic duties. This case arises as relations between Bamako and Paris remain strained since the break in military cooperation.
But really, the charge against him is upheld. And what he is accused of is an attempt at destabilization. And he is a man who has been spending quite some time since last year, who is getting in touch with religious leaders, with politicians, with all those who are somewhat against the transition process. So given that it was still the effectiveness of our intelligence services that managed to catch him since last August, as well as last November, as you mentioned so well, today the sentence has just been announced. 20 years of imprisonment plus 20 years of banishment from Mali plus a fine of 3,500,000, which seems a bit too lenient to me considering what he is accused of.
While voices in Mali are calling for a harsher judicial response, several residents of Bamako see this judgment as a signal of firmness against foreign interference. This sensitive case illustrates the deep differences that persist between the two countries.
They are talking about coming to do anything at all just to get their way. If Mali is a sovereign nation, why has a sovereign state taken a decision against somebody they think came into their country to destabilize the country? And the people who are preaching democracy, Pan-Africanism, they are the first Pan-Africanists, are not allowing the same Pan-African spirit they are preaching to deal with this person. It's amazing how Africans are still treated this way. If it were to be in the United States of America, we wouldn't see them calling for the release of this man. If it is any part of the world, we will never see this. But what they can do outside of the continent is what they always do. Anybody at all comes to Africa, do whatever they want, go scot-free. Because it is Africa. And who is allowing that? It is the African that is allowing it. Because our leaders are not fighting to protect us. Look at how FIFA or America decided to deny Omar Otan entry into the United States of America. Even when FIFA has cleared him, gave him everything, the documentation and everything is intact. Yet, we didn't see Africa rising to speak against this. We are silent when it has to do with us, but we are vocal when it has to do with them. African leaders would have been too vocal to talk about it if it were to be outside of the African race. So it's because of the way we treat ourselves. That is why people treat us this way. How can Emmanuel Macron be threatening a sitting president for taking legal actions against somebody they think came into their country and is trying to put the country into chaos? Will Macron do this if it were to be an European nation that has taken these legal actions? So why must it always be that the African do not have a voice over his or her own affairs? When it comes to us, they must decide what they think is right. But when it comes to them, we don't have any right. They still have the right to decide what they think is best for them. So it's like the Africans still do not have a say in this modern world. We are still treated as junior versions of independence. And we are so excited about celebrating Independence Day every year. The African is proud to always sing and say how independent you are. But you still don't have control over anything that has to do with your jurisdiction. France still wants to control. France still wants to control Mali, even being far away from Mali. The leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are teaching other African nations what leadership is all about, what Pan-Africanism is all about, and what being a black race is all about. If we are projecting ourselves of independence, yet we cannot take decisions on our soil when things are going wrong, then where is the independence we celebrate? Where is the democracy you boast of, African leaders? And why won't African leaders be vocal to fight against the same people who are treating our independence as junior version of it? We are still the same people welcoming them. Even the same people who decided not to acknowledge things are the same ones we still want them to be in our presence when we are to discuss things that has to do with us. We have African youth shouting and hailing leaders simply because of the speeches they give. African youth are not ready to wake up. If you know the people who are your leaders, you would have been very active in standing with the leaders in Sahel. Like Thomas Sankara said, any leader in Africa, they are dining, praising, you should know that leader has finished you. So before you praise any leader in your country or being a good leader, look at what they say about that leader and know that leader is in their palm, regardless of what they come to discuss or tell you. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in France.